Hello y'all, this is Red Flood, a mod for Heartsbind 4, set in a world where no one actually won World War I. We're going to play as the General Government of the Steppes, a country that starts off being led by Lav Kornilov and controls parts of Western Siberia and Central Asia. We begin with the national spirit warlord indifference. Our ruling ideology is despotic and we're the subject of another state. As for who our overlord is, that would be the Russian Empire, who just has us as another one of their many puppets that they control. Inspecting the military, we got 11 divisions, 7 of them being infantry, and the 4 others being cavalry. As for army commanders, there is a total of 4 generals and no field marshals, so we'll just promote someone to that position later. Let's throw ourselves into the focus tree and do 1935 in review. Shall we question the Russianness of our peasants in the triune nation policy? Shall we help Normads settle down, cooperate with the Alash Orda, and to top that all off, draft the 1936 budget? We got an event and it says we are in the Wild West of Russia with many different factions and ideas ranging from the Ukrainian Council, the creation of a Cossack state or Khanate, and even more beyond that. Going to the decisions tab, we got a little mechanic to keep track of, and that is factions influence. It's important because eventually one faction will emerge as the victor and we want the Ukrainian Council to win, so let's keep their influence high and try to do decisions that will help them, like form Ukrainian self-defense squads. With the formation of the squads, the countryside of the government has been set ablaze with ethnic violence. 2 groups known as the White Cossacks and the Red Cossacks have begun fighting one another. The Red Cossacks, while not Bolsheviks, do support the reformist socialism of the Ukrainian Council, while the White Cossacks oppose Bolshevism altogether. The Ukrainian Council claims no responsibility for the violence and instead points at Russian imperial policies, which left minorities divided. On the western border of Xinjiang, in the night, a group of riders sets a village alight and slaughters the inhabitants once they are sent running from their engulfed homes. In the morning, the riders search for weapons and ammunition, but they find none. Something interesting has happened in Yakutia. Somehow, a Japanese officer has become the country leader. Prior to this, it was a puppet of the Russian Empire, just like we currently are. Slavic but not Russian? Basically, some Russian nationalists want all Slavic citizens to be classified as Russian. The Ukrainian Council opposes this idea. We can say yes or no. Let's go with no, allowing us to gain base stability but lose political power. Work to settle the Normads is underway, with them being given benefits to settle on plots of land provided by the government. Quite a few factions grumble about this, as this land could have been granted to them. Response among the Normads is mixed, but the government ultimately hopes that something good will come out of these offers. Altai declared war on the Imperial Authority. We'll be keeping a close eye on that because Altai itself is our eastern neighbor. The annual budget must be prepared. Several groups want different things, but let's go with the first choice in the top left corner, which will give us manpower and a couple military factories. In the focus tree, we're doing Kornilov's Day alone, then news from European Russia when possible. After that, steady as she goes, ... I guess. Upon finishing that one, we'll take Ukrainian demonstrations in Akmolensk. That's most likely the news we are waiting for, the war between the Russian Empire and the once loyal to Kolchak Novorosian general government. Kornilov sits at his desk in his study alone. He wonders about the future of the country and his place in it. He wishes to maintain his position. His thoughts go from God having carried him this far to wondering if God has forsaken him. The Southeastern Union breaks away from the Russian Empire, and our northern neighbor, the Siberian government, does so as well, and then transforms into the Russian state. With the news from European Russia focus completed, we ourselves have become free from the Russian Empire. With so many governments going independent, one can wonder what the future will hold. We may soon have a war with the Orenburg military district or not, because they're going down the loyalty to Russia branch, which will eventually result in the military district being annexed by the empire. The Scarlet Revolution. Thanks to mishandling of funds and scandal in the government, the Ukrainian Council gains popular support. Assassinations, rioting, strikes, and protests are had by all until the crisis ends with Kornilov peacefully surrendering power to the Ukrainian Council. Thanks to the revolution, our focus tree has changed to that of Grey Ukraine. We'll start off with Ukrainian-dominated council elected, which will change the ruling party. We are officially called Grey Ukraine. The flag changes. Our new leader is Vitaly Primakov, and the ruling ideology is revisionist socialist. Vitaly Primakov in our timeline was a member of the Bolshevik faction of the Russian Social Democratic Labor Party, later becoming the commander of the Red Cossacks in the Russian Civil War, and after the war he continued his military service, rising to the deputy of the commander of the Leningrad Military District. Then in 1937 he was killed in the Great Purge, called Stalin. In the new focus tree, let's assert our independence, seek foreign investment, and deliver an ultimatum to Orenburg. After these three are done, let's do the military mini-branch, starting with military-grade Ukraine, then Ukrainianize existing divisions, and update our military industry. Something very fascinating is going on in the Middle East. The Kingdom of Syria is at war with the non-accelerationist French Mandate of Lebanon. I don't think we'll have enough time to get to our Orenburg ultimatum because the Orenburg military district is fighting both the Southeastern Union and the Novorossians, who managed to beat the Russian Empire. Another former part of the Russian Empire sphere is having their own problems. The Baltic General Government is in a civil war between reactionaries and vanguard socialists. Let's take a look at the somewhat distant Intermarium faction members' ideologies to see what political paths they are on. We got Social Democrat Poland, Accelerationist Belarus, and Despotic Ukraine. Let's worry about the military focuses later and instead do some other ones like universal education in Ukrainian and invite Ukrainian intellectuals, the culture of socialist future, open up the politics further, form local councils, restrict the former elites, and push our borders to the maximum. The Southeastern Union got itself into another war. This time it's with the Kavkaz Society, who is being the aggressor in this conflict. There is a slight difference in size between the two countries. While we have been doing our own thing with revolutions and whatnot, Altai and the Imperial Authority are still fighting in what looks like to be almost a stalemate. We justified a war goal on our small neighbor, the General Government of Turkestan, and we intend to take full advantage of it. To the east, the Imperial Authority has become the realm of Living Buddha, and they somehow entered into a war with the Anhui clique while still fighting Altai. We continue to push deeper into Central Asia by starting a fight with the Republic of Turkestan, which is one of the many nations located in the region. Our borders have been pushed to the maximum, so let's do the focuses on the far left branch, which are continue internal colonization, Ukrainian-style villages, and promote farming cooperatives. Once they are done, that just leaves us for the most part with the military ones we've been meaning to do for a while. We are going to invade the realm of Living Buddha, who beat Altai and grab the states we have cores on. They should be busy fighting the Anhui clique. We got what we wanted, and it wasn't relatively too hard, so let's turn our attention back to Central Asia and prepare to battle Khwarezm. Big changes in China. The Beiyang government is crushed by the Vientiane government and the Anhui clique. Meanwhile, in Western Europe, Gaul declares war on Germany. Even more news from Europe, and just wow. Italy beat the League Solar, so that means Fiume is gone. Khwarezm was puppeted, so let's get ready for our toughest war yet. That being one, we'll start with the Southeastern Union. We're about done with our unique path focuses. We just have a new general staff, Democratic Socialism, and Ukrainian Republic left. And once those are done and finished, we'll just move over to the branches and the other part of the focus tree. The one major issue we are having in our conflict with the Union is that we only have so many provinces to use, and that means both sides have resorted to just stacking up large amounts of soldiers on the front lines. I got a little scheme to break through this deadlock, and that is to invade the Kazakh Red Army, then use their territory to launch a surprise attack. It was a success, and we have managed to isolate and trap most of the enemy army, I imagine. With that big obstacle out of the way, the path is open to go into our foe's heartland and core territory. The United Kingdom declares war on the Germans, who beat French Gaul, and now also the Germans and their faction are fighting the Intermarium. The Belarusian National Collective, who somehow got out of the Intermarium, which has worked out for them, has a war going on with Prussia. Bosnia fights Yugoslavia, and scrolling up to the northeast from there, Poland and Ukraine are gone, leaving us as the only Ukraine in the world, making us, I guess, Ukraine by survivorship, because proper Ukraine is gone. I don't know really. We continue to consolidate power in Central Asia with plans to attack both Bukhara and Fergana. The German Socialist Republic annexed Prussia, Now Goebbels just has to beat the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth of Nations. The Russian state has gone to war with us and they have a lot of war goals. We are going to advance into Siberia in order to stop their ambitions. They also have gone to war with Celta in the east. We gave a lot of the Russian state to the Free Territory of Celta, a revolutionary anarchist country, in the peace conference because of the hope that they'll do one of their focuses that will give them the chance to attack the Russian Empire. Never mind, we'll just fight the Empire ourselves, maybe even with some of our puppets. What can go wrong? Goebbels' war tour goes on, and Yugoslavia got themselves as a country into wars with Greece, Bulgaria, and the Commonwealth of Nations faction. We're pushing quite nicely in our offensive, and as we go on, we have encircled a group of enemy divisions. As the war goes on and casualties rise, we are slowly cutting away at the Russian army, who may soon have fewer units than us if the numbers are to be believed. We're doing fine in manpower as we have set the conscription law to all adults serve, and we have managed to capture the states we have cores on. The United Tegnates of America declared war on Australia, who promptly called in the Commonwealth of Nations, who as a faction just can't catch a break. Over in another part of Asia, the Khotan Emirate fights the entire United Republican Front faction alone. Gray Ukrainian soldiers seize Moscow. We are getting closer and closer to the Russian capital of Petrograd. The Empire is fighting hard, and it has brought out its best units in the form of tank divisions, which while tough, will overwhelm them with the sheer size of our army. We are victorious. First things first in this peace conference is to take core states. It couldn't really stop there, so we went ahead and annexed the entire Russian Empire, making one gigantic Grey Ukraine. Due to how everything was divided, the western part of historical Russian territory belongs to the revisionist socialists, while the eastern part is revolutionary anarchist. Checking on wars one last time, the United Kingdom fights Germany and friends, Yugoslavia and the USA. The German Socialist Republic, who has been very successful war-wise, just fights the UK and their faction. The video is going to end here. If you enjoyed the mod, make sure to check it out in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment, have an awesome day. I'll see y'all later. Bye.